Right now at noon, Hollywood stars and college coaches are among dozens charged in a $25 million college bribery scheme. And an update from Beloit police concerning last night's deadly shooting. We're learning more about the man killed and 2 others hurt. Plus, more Boeings are grounded amid a global probe into a deadly plane crash in Ethiopia.
From the Channel3000.com Alert Center, this is News 3 Now at noon.
Good evening, everyone. I'm Mark Kane. Developing late this morning, federal officials have charged 50 people, including college coaches and actresses, with fraud in a massive college admissions scandal. The Justice Department says coaches accepted bribes in exchange for admitting students as athletes, regardless of their ability. Prosecutors say parents paid an admissions consultant $25 million from 2011 until just last month to bribe coaches and administrators to label their children as recruited athletes in order to boost their chances of getting into the schools. Some of the schools involved include Yale, Georgetown, Wake Forest, and UCLA. In most cases, parents pay between $250,000 and $450,000. Lori Laughlin and Felicity Hoffman are 2 of the stars of the 50 charged in this case. Let's head over to the Weather Center now. Meteorologist Chris Reese has a look at your first alert forecast. Waiting for the rain.
We are waiting for the rain. Plenty of sunshine out there right now. In fact, this is a live look from our studio camera showing you blue skies. But pay attention to what's just on the horizon. That is the first sign of cloud cover starting to work its way in from the west. Temperature-wise, though, things are warm. We're at 39 right now in Madison, 45 in Janesville, and 40s working their way all the way up towards Black River Falls. So we are certainly going to begin to see things melting, and there's going to be a whole lot more of that coming on in. This warm air being ushered in by a strong southerly wind, sustained at 13 miles per hour right now. Let me show you some of those temperatures just to our south. Chicago at 44, 48 in St. Louis. This is the air that's being tapped into and then being ushered towards the north. So we will see warmer temperatures as we go through today. That's because our next storm system already starting to develop, that regional low pressure right here over the Rockies right now, and it is going to eventually become a pretty strong low, which means we are going to see more surges of warmer temperatures as we go through the week ahead. But as you plan today, do expect those rain showers to increase. In fact, we'll likely start to see rain moving in right around 5 to 6 o'clock. So just in time for that evening rush hour. And those rounds of rain with warmer temperatures and melting snow could lead to some problems with flooding. In fact, we do already have flood watches in effect for a lot of areas just to our west. In fact, I'm going to break down some additional information on the flood outlook coming up in Maine weather, Mark.
All that water's got to go somewhere.
Yes, it does.
All right, Chris, we'll see you in a few minutes. Beloit police are still looking for those responsible for a deadly shooting in the city. They're called to an area of Elm Street and Roosevelt Avenue around 9:30 last night. A 21-year-old man from Beloit died in the shooting. A 15-year-old boy and a 25-year-old man were hurt, but they are expected to be okay. Police say a large confrontation involving many people may have led to last night's shooting. They're also asking the community to stop speculating about who's involved online for the safety of the community and the integrity of the investigation. Those living in the area where the shooting took place say they're on edge.
It was scary because Elma's a really quiet street. I mean, for the most part, it's elderly and, you know, very, very quiet, not a lot of kids. So the fact that there was a shooting here is incredible. I mean, you would never expect this.
Jessica Bradley later found out a bullet hit her home as investigators had to dig it out of the siding. She says police were quickly on the scene and felt safe once they arrived. Again, police have not made any arrests yet in this case. An Amber Alert is still in effect for a missing 2-year-old girl from Milwaukee. Police are searching for Nolani Robinson. They say the suspect is 33-year-old Darius Higgins. Police say he did not drop the little girl back at her mother's house last night as planned. He was last seen driving a 2014 black Cadillac SUV. Police say he is armed and dangerous. If you see him or Nolani, please call 911. 8 Americans were among the 157 people killed in Sunday's plane crash in Ethiopia. One of the Americans on board was U.S. Army Captain Antoine Lewis. His family got the news back in Illinois. They say he was a father, newly married, and serving as a missionary in Africa. Another American on board was Melvin Riffle from California, along with his brother, and a political activist from Minnesota. Makati Hussein Abdullah also lost his life. Crews at the crash site are working to identify the remains. That's a process that's expected to take weeks. And in response to that crash, Britain and Germany are the latest countries to ground or close airspace to Boeing 737 MAX passenger flights. The plane that went down Sunday was the second 737 MAX to crash in 5 months. In the U.S., Southwest and American Airlines, which operate two of the largest 737 MAX fleets, are still flying them. United is continuing to operate the longer 737 MAX 9. The FAA says it does not have enough data from Sunday's crash to take action yet, but will if the investigation indicates the need to do so. Yesterday, flight attendant unions pushed back against the FAA and airlines. Passengers are also worried.
We need to hear from the FAA with transparency here about what steps they're taking to address the concerns of the public and the crews who are working on these planes.
I am looking at making sure that I'm not going to put myself on a 737.
Said a little prayer and got here safe.
Boeing CEO says he is confident in the safety of the 737 MAX, and the company is working to understand all aspects of Sunday's tragic accident. The FAA says it expects to mandate design changes, including software updates to the MAX, as soon as April. Those stem from the previous 737 MAX crash. The Pecatonica River in Darlington expected to crest Thursday night. The police department posted about the possibility of the flooding on its Facebook page. The river is predicted to crest at 14.9 feet, which is considered a moderate flood. Main Street closes at 15 feet. So the department plans to keep a close eye on things. This video is from last October when the river also flooded. And there's more to come on News 3 Now at noon. Up next, we'll see what Howard's working on in the Mr. Food Test Kitchen.
Today, we're sharing a bakery favorite that takes me back to when I was a kid. I'm wondering, do you have a favorite bakery treat that brings back special memories for you? When I was growing up, every Sunday morning, my dad would take my brother and I to this little bakery to pick up an assortment of freshly baked rolls. Before we left, my brother and I would get to choose one pastry to eat on the way home. I always got a cherry cheese Danish that had sliced almonds on it. It was so good that today we're sharing a version that we recently came up with. We start by opening a package of crescent roll dough, but rather than unrolling it, we slice it and place each piece on a baking sheet. Then we flatten the center of each with a juice glass and sort of pinch the edges so each one looks like a shallow bowl. Now we fill the center of each one with a sweetened cream cheese mixture. On top of that goes a spoonful of cherry pie filling, and into the oven they go. Once they cool, we drizzle them with a 2-ingredient glaze and sprinkle on some sliced almonds. You know, these look and taste exactly like the ones I grew up with. The filling is so creamy and the pastry is buttery rich. You can start making your own memories by getting the recipe for our easy cheesy cherry Danish right on our website. Hey Cal, come try these. I'm Howard in the Mr. Food Test Kitchen, where today we went back to my childhood for a memory-making way for you to say, ooh, it's so good. Aren't they good? We used to have these as kids.
Thank you, Howard. Rain is possible later today. We'll get an update on our chances next in the First Alert forecast. Let's check Wall Street at the noon hour. The Dow Industrial is down 95 points. The NASDAQ, however, up 46. The S&P 500, it's 11.5 in the plus territory. Let's check in now with Q106 Farm Director Pam Yankee on this Tuesday, getting ready for some rain.
Yeah, I guess so. I told my rainfall reporters this morning to get their equipment out, brushed up, and a couple of them were teasing about, I don't think the ground's soft enough to put the prod in. And they're right. That's going to be an issue. That water's got to go somewhere, and our soil surface is still plenty frozen. So might want to thank the farmers that have all those cover crops out there, because they will help to make sure that water at least doesn't do any damage. So what are we talking about in the marketplace today? Apparently, there were some phone calls exchanged this morning between the United States and China. Just another effort trying to get the trade deal done. Still no calendar date when the president and President Xi might get together, but markets are trending up on the midday. Wheat is the real surprise on the midday. We're up like 20 cents on our wheat market. What's going on there? Weather. Take a look around in the Plain States. They still have plenty of snow and cold weather, and they say that's starting to influence the market thoughts about spring wheat acres. Egypt is also saying that they are going to try to diversify where they're getting some of their wheat. They had to reject a shipment last week from Romania because of contamination. So they say they're going to shop around a little bit more. That may mean the United States, as far as wheat's concerned, is back in the marketplace. So those are the kinds of things that are being discussed. As far as dairy is concerned, for today, barrel cheese up 3.5 cents at $1.40 1/4. 40-pound block cheese unchanged, $1.52. Double A butter up a penny and a quarter at $2.28 a pound. Also want to remind folks that today we're doing our free travel meetings on our adventure to Alaska, August 20th through September 1st. This afternoon, I'll see you at the Comfort Inn and Suites off East Washington. That's a new location for us. We'll be out there at 2 o'clock this afternoon and 7 o'clock tonight, and I expect to be there for both of those. Even if I don't stay for the whole presentation, I'll be there to say hello. Then tomorrow, they're in Janesville and Platteville, and then on Thursday, Mark, they finish her up in Portage and Reedsburg. But so far, holy potato bugs. A lot of people want to go to Alaska. I bet Alaska is kind of like neck and neck with Wisconsin right now as far as weather. I see that I was just reading something about the Iditarod's going to wrap up this week. So we're both still dealing with some of that snow, but this rain could change the face of the Wisconsin landscape pretty quick.
And you're going to Alaska in August?
August, yeah.
It should be.
No snow.
It should, hopefully not. By then.
Well, I hope not.
All right,
I hadn't
Pam.
thought about that.
All right, see you later. Thank you. Chris is here now with a look at our first alert forecast.
Yeah, we've had plenty of sunshine out there today. This is the Edgewater Sky Cam overlooking Picnic Point. And honestly, that is a very beautiful view over a very frozen Lake Mendota. But a lot of the snow on top of this ice getting ready to go by the wayside. Just on the horizon, I don't know if you can see it, but we are starting to see the first signs of cloud cover moving in, and that is the first signs of change that is working its way towards south central Wisconsin. This is visible cloud track. It's kind of got a loop back and forth, but it's gone through the morning from before the sun came up and to where we are now. And you can actually start to see the leading edge of that cloud cover starting to work in towards the Mississippi River Valley. So this is the camera in Platteville right now, and you do see indeed that cloud cover in play down there. Here's the deal. We already have our system starting to develop. It's going to send multiple rounds of rain our direction. That first round of rain starting to already impact parts of west central Iowa. That's what's going to be moving in later on today, perhaps right around the evening rush hour, so keep that in mind. But out ahead of that regional low pressure, we do have a very strong southerly wind. These are winds sustained right now at about 13 miles per hour here in town. So here's what that actually does. That really taps into that warmer air and allows those warmer temperatures to move on in here. So already we are at 39 degrees here in Madison, 45 as you work your way down towards Janesville, Boscobel, Lone Rock, Mineral Point, Prairie du Chien, all in the 40s. We see those 40s all the way up as far north as Black River Falls. So we all get warm as we head into the afternoon and evening. But here we are at 6:30. This is when we're going to start to really see that rain coming in, especially across the western half of the state. Some of that could be some heavier rainfall as well. That'll move through here. Then once we get beyond midnight, we're going to be dealing with scattered showers pretty much all night long as those temperatures hang out into the 30s. Then throughout Wednesday afternoon, off and on rain showers, temperatures will make it into the 50s. Then Wednesday night, we'll have another round of heavier rain that works its way on through here with more rain showers coming in into Thursday as well. When all is said and done, we could see up to an inch of rain, perhaps more than an inch of rain across central Wisconsin, which this is the area that actually has a lot of the heaviest snowfall right now. And so with all this rain on top of snow, on top of a frozen ground, it really can't seep into the ground. So instead, it's just going to pool up. This is why we do have flood watches for the western half of the state, and I do believe we will likely see some flood warnings before the week is out. But what you're looking at right now is just your river flood forecast for the spring as a whole. And everywhere you see a purple or a red dot, those are rivers that are expected to reach moderate to major flood stage. And some of those are right here in our area as well, up near the Dells and Lake Delton, but especially as you work your way towards that Mississippi River Valley and really all of the upper Midwest. Check that out. Every single dot that you see are areas that could see moderate to major flood stage as we go through this spring. So that's something we're going to be watching. The good news is once we get past this heavy rain event that we do have coming in this week, there are signs that things could be drier than normal for a solid 6 to 10 days, and that would actually help. But I do still think some folks are going to be dealing with flooding once we get through this. Saturday and Sunday, there's something special about that. Since the first weekend of 2019, we have not had a calm, sunny weekend. Every single weekend has been rainy or snowy in some way, shape, or form. So it's been 10 weeks since we've had a nice weekend.
We deserve one.
We do deserve one. Hopefully we'll keep it that way.
All right, Chris, thank you. Now is the time to call in with your pet questions. Dr. Jim Orvik is standing by. He's in studio with us. Call now at 270-9933. We'll get to your calls right after this. Dr. Jim Orvik is here taking your pet questions at 270-9933. Good to see you again.
It's good to be here.
Had the dogs in for a checkup the other day, and we were talking about heartworms.
Yes.
And apparently now there's a vaccine?
Yeah, well, a 6-month shot.
Really?
Yeah, that's been around for a while, off and on.
I didn't know that.
Well, it was on, and then it was off, and then it's back on, and yeah, it's a good way to go.
And do you have to give them the medication all year long, or can you wait when the mosquitoes aren't around?
Well, with the vaccine, you don't have to give them anything other than, or with the shot, you just give it. 6 months later, give another one.
And if you, okay. So do you recommending the shots?
Yeah, I think so.
All right, because they love the medication.
Well, you don't want to deprive them of their
It's a little,
daily pleasure.
little treat.
Or monthly, I guess.
And a neighbor of mine, their dog slipped on the ice and broke its hip. So I mean, that's another thing to be cautious
now,
of.
especially with the wet and the ice, yes. I know, well, you knew someone who fell, and I know someone who fell. And the dogs fall too, and it's good for business, but bad for the dog.
Yeah, keep that in mind.
Yes.
All right, let's go to the phones. We'll start with Deb in Verona. Hi, Deb.
Hi.
Hi, what's your question?
What's the easiest way to get matted fur out of a cat's coat?
A electric clipper.
Brushing is not going to work?
Well, there's all kinds of things for detangling cat's hair and stuff you can put on to keep it from tangling up, and it's all fine if you want to spend the time. I'm more of a get it done and it'll grow back.
It'll grow back, exactly. All right, Lisa in Madison. Hi, Lisa.
Hi, do dogs have gallbladders, the bile, and do they get stones ever?
They have gallbladders and bile, and rarely they do get stones. So, yes.
Thank you.
Okay.
How do you know if there's a problem?
Oh, well, it's like humans. If it's bad enough in a dog, you don't know it's bad until it's bad, and then they get yellow because of bile duct obstruction, and they have pain and things, and abdominal pain. You do an ultrasound and see the stones in there.
Do they take them out?
Sure.
Okay.
There are drugs to dissolve them, too.
Dick in Cross Plains. Hi, Dick. What's your question?
Yes, thank you. My cat has had a breathing problem for a little over a year, kind of like she gurgles when she breathes. I've had her to the vet many times, and we've ran tests on her, could not figure out what it is. Well, for the last year and a half, I've been giving her a little bit of Miralax. She's 15 years old. And I Googled earlier this week about Miralax and said humans can sometimes build up fluids in their lungs. And I wondered if that may be a problem with animals, too, that are put on Miralax.
Miralax, which is?
I'm not familiar with that.
No.
I'm going to put you on hold here, Steve, because we're running out of time, and Doctor will talk to you off the air, okay?
Yes, that'll be fine.
All right. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thanks for calling in. Here's Chris with one final check of the forecast.
We do have some sunshine out there now. Clouds will be on the increase, though, as we go through the afternoon. Do expect rainfall to move in right in time for that evening commute. It's going to be the first of numerous rounds of rainfall between now and Thursday night. Do expect some lightning and thunder as well, along with the possibility of flooding. Oh, yeah, and dense fog. When you have warm air moving over that snowpack, things will certainly get foggy in a hurry.
All right. Going to be an interesting couple of days. That's our time for now. Thanks for watching. We'll see you back here at 4. Have a great afternoon.